Hey guys, this is PhoneArena, and today we're doing a side-by-side comparison of the HTC Droid Incredible from Verizon Wireless, and of course the Apple iPhone 4 from AT&T. Both handsets are obviously probably the two hotter phones out there from each of the prospective carriers. The HTC Droid Incredible is obviously a variant of the Nexus One, a very popular device, again from Verizon Wireless with Android 2.1 and Sense UI. And of course, the Apple iPhone 4, if you haven't checked out our review on either of the handsets, go check them out to get a little bit more in-depth detail on some of their features. But today we're just going to go over some of the comparisons and how they stack up against one another. When it comes down to design, both handsets are somewhat on the extreme end of the spectrum. The thing that we like about both units, though, is that they're definitely normal size, so making it very easy for just about anyone to hold. They don't seem too bulky or too large or too small to hold or handle. With the HTC Droid Incredible, though, the choice of materials is not as fine or high premium than the iPhone 4. It's mostly constructed out of plastic, the black plastic on the front, where on the iPhone 4 they utilize this glass-like material for the front and the back, sandwiched together with the brushed stainless steel band to give it a really nice nostalgic look. The HTC Droid Incredible, though, looks a little bit more uninspiring just from a design standpoint, but the back cover, we definitely like the soft touch matte feeling material, which does well to repel scratches and also fingerprints. But then again, on the iPhone 4, it has the olophobic coating on the front and the back to make it look pristine every time you take it out of the pockets. As far as size, as we said, they're pretty well sized, not too large, not too small. They're both extremely thin too, but the iPhone is slightly thinner at 0.37 inches thick. But the choice of materials with the plastic in use with the Droid Incredible makes it extremely more lightweight than the iPhone 4. But over time, we believe that the iPhone 4's durability will probably handle well a lot better than the Droid Incredible. So by now we'd imagine that most people are probably well adjusted or acquainted with the iPhone 4's Retina display and how detailed it really is. But with the Droid Incredible, it utilizes a 3.7-inch AMOLED display, where on the iPhone 4 it's a 3.5, so size-wise it's not that much different. But the advantage that the Droid Incredible has over the iPhone 4 is just contrast ratio. So it produces richer colors as far as blacks or different tones and gradients. It's not to say that the iPhone 4's Retina display isn't bad too. It does a great job of doing that as well. But again, the contrast ratio just goes down to the Droid Incredible. It has a resolution of 480 by 800, while on the iPhone 4 it has a resolution of 640 by 960, so slightly more detailed, a lot more pixels per square inch. But to tell you the truth, both handsets are fantastic as far as their displays go. You can see them pretty much any angle, viewing angles, but we find that the iPhone 4 to work a lot better in direct sunlight or outdoor conditions. As far as the other features on the phone, at the bottom of the iPhone you have just the dedicated home button, which is quite springy. And for the Incredible, you have touch-sensitive buttons at the bottom with the optical trackpad, which can be used to navigate and also be pressed down as a button. On the sides, we're happy to say that both have pretty good volume rockers, quite very well sized. And on top, same thing goes with the dedicated power button, pretty large, and also a 3.5mm headset jack. On the Droid Incredible utilizes a micro USB port, and on the iPhone 4 it's the proprietary one. The speaker is found on the back, while on the iPhone 4 it's on the bottom. And on the rear you have an 8-megapixel autofocus camera with dual LED flash on the Incredible, and on the iPhone 4 you just have a 5-megapixel shooter with flash. So what we like about the HTC Droid Incredible's experience with Android 2.1 with Sense UI running on top is how fast it's able to keep up with the iPhone 4 in terms of just moving around the home screens. It's pretty fluid, very quick, and there's no evidence of that much lag compared to the Evo 4G. Even launching certain applications, it does it in a fine, fast job thanks to the 1 GHz Snapdragon processor inside, where on the iPhone it has the Apple A4. On one side you have a lot of social networking integration with the Droid Incredible, while on the iPhone 4 it's a little bit more straightforward as far as moving around the home screen and just running different applications. So it just depends on your taste which one you prefer. We still adore using the iPhone 4's 5-megapixel shooter versus the Droid Incredible's 8-megapixel one, just because it produced a lot better detailed looking images and also had vibrant colors. On top we have the Droid Incredible, the bottom of the iPhone 4, and you could tell that there's sometimes an overcast look with the Droid Incredible's images. The iPhone 4 though produced stellar detail, as you can see from this image here, and colors were a lot more natural looking. For indoor shots though, with the flash, we find that the the iPhone to produce better images, just because they didn't look as overexposed. Actually, as you could tell from the image here with the Droid Incredible versus the iPhone 4. Videos, on the other hand, has to go to the iPhone 4 just because it has the ability to shoot in 720p, although both were pretty steady looking because they had pretty good frame rates. So both handsets actually complement one another in terms of other functionality, such as web browsing, watching videos, and even playing music. They're both fantastic in that regard. When it comes down to battery life, though, we noticed that the iPhone 4 performed slightly better than the Incredible. We managed to get 1.5 days use out of the iPhone 4, where only we got 1 day's use out of the Incredible, which still goes to say that 1 day is pretty much good enough for most people. When it comes to voice quality, though, the Droid Incredible definitely has an advantage just because it produced better sounds, richer tones, just louder speaker overall. Same thing goes with the speakerphone. Well, in the iPhone 4, you still kind of hear some of that background noise or static, but thankfully the noise cancellation microphone does a pretty good job on our caller's end to make our voices a little bit more audible. Reception also goes to the Droid Incredible. It just had better signal to the network at any given time when we checked them both out. So as we said, both handsets complement one another very well in various aspects, from performance, usability, and also functionality. On one side, you have the Droid Incredible with Verizon, which is the best offering right now actually for the carrier until the Droid X comes out. It has a lot of tight integration with social networking thanks to Android itself. And if you prefer just Android just because of its openness, then definitely go with the Droid Incredible. On the other hand, the iPhone 4 has a stellar design, slightly better than the Droid Incredible, and the interface and platform experience is just as equally as great. Very straightforward, and just about anyone can get right into it. So ultimately, it's going to come down to what kind of coverage you're going to get in your exact location, because both handsets are priced accordingly at $199.99 on contract. So if you have better coverage in your area with Verizon, then definitely choose the Droid Incredible. If not, go with AT&T and the iPhone 4, because both handsets are definitely great smartphones. So if you'd like to learn more about each handset, or for all the latest cell phone reviews, news specs, and information, you can check us out at PhoneArena.com.